All right. So, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join me today in our topic, job searching in Canada for international students. I do encourage you all to participate, and I will give you the code very shortly, but please, do your best to participate if you can, and ask questions in the chat as well if you have any. And we will answer them all at the end. Okay, so let's begin. Okay. All right, so everyone knows my name is Amanda. My role here at Yorkville University is an employability coach. I have been here at Yorkville for around 2 years now, coming up to 2 years. I'm a day-to-day job for me is supporting students with resumes, mock interviews, job searching, building their LinkedIn, etc. Now, previously to coming from Yorkville, I worked in a nonprofit organization where I supported at-risk youth between 15 to 18 find their first time survival job. So I am very excited to be doing this at a university level. And as Linda mentioned, job searching for international students and for anyone can be challenging. So hopefully after today's webinar, you will get a little more information and it will be less overwhelming moving forward. All right, so I want to acknowledge, do a land acknowledgement from where I'm from, which is Ontario, and I'm just gonna take 2 minutes just to read that for us before we begin. So we now acknowledge the land we are meeting on is a traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis. We also acknowledge that the applicable treaty for this region is referred to as a Toronto Purchase. We reframe our responsibility to increase awareness and understanding of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples and colonial legacy, and commit to strengthening our relationship with Indigenous people throughout Canada. All right. So this is our first Mentimeter. Now that you know a little bit about me, so please log in to www.menti.com and use the code 4098-7176. And I want to know, what program are you a part of? Okay, we got BBA. Well, 3 people from BBA today. Okay, just gonna give it a little bit of time. Okay, just gonna give another 30 seconds if anybody else. Again, please, if you can participate. All right, so we have BBA. I'm sure we have other students from other programs, but that is okay. I will move along. Thank you everyone for participating. All right, so here is a little fun fact. Did you know? So did you know Canadian government research estimates that international students contribute to 22 billion annually to the country's economy and help to sustain over 170,000 jobs, right? So obviously, as a career service advisor and an employment coach, we are all here to help contribute and to make this number even larger, right? So please, after today's webinar, hopefully you do reach out to us and get our support so that we can help, your stay here in Canada, and help you get employment. All right. So why is job searching important? A continuous job search can help you keep track of the competition, polish your personal brand, and determine which skills to focus on when you come across a new position you like to pursue. So, a lot of students come to me and they right away want to come start their resume. But there are many different steps prior to creating a resume that you have to take in order to begin job searching. And in the next slide, we are going to determine the steps before creating a resume that is part of the job searching process. So in order to, before you even job search, it is very, very important to know actually what you are eligible to, how many hours you are eligible to work as an international student, as there is some sort of regulations and rules that need to be followed. So before you job search, if you are a student on a study permit, please note that you can only work up to 20 hours per week, okay? And this is very, very important that you don't go over this number because this can, hinder your chances of not getting a permanent resident status. And we obviously don't want that for you. We want to avoid any challenges when getting a PR, okay? Now, in addition to only to work up to 20 hours on your study permit, if you are on a postgraduate work program, up to 3 years, your eligibility has to be a completion of your studies up to 8 months, okay? Now, you must be a full-time student. However, part-time is okay if you're in your final term. So just make sure that you are in your final term when you are looking for these regulations. You must have a YU transcript, okay? So that will indicate your grades, your GPA, the courses that you took, as well as an official letter confirming that you have completed your studies, okay? Now, I believe you can ask for this by your admissions advisor. So when that does come time, please do reach out and they'll be able to get that for you, okay? You also can work while waiting for a decision, but I believe you need some sort of written documentation that states that as well. Now, obviously, approval depends on how well you comply with those rules, as I mentioned previously, right? So you want to make sure that if you are on a study permit, you are not going over those 20 hours a week. And if obviously additional rules do apply based on every situation, so please do reach out to your student services department and they'll be able to give you those additional regulations. Okay, awesome. All right, so another key point that everyone needs to have in order to even start working is a social insurance number, okay? Now, often you might hear the term SIN number, and that does stand for social insurance number. So what exactly is a social insurance number? A social insurance number allows you to work in Canada and receive benefits and services from government programs, okay? So whether you are an international student, Canadian citizen, permanent resident, temporary resident, it doesn't matter. Every single student or every single individual requires a social insurance number to work here in Canada. Now, you have to be eligible. You must be 12 years or older to apply for this social insurance number. And you must present legal documents in order to get this number. Some of the documents are, I believe, a birth certificate. You're going to need a passport if you have one. A passport if it's in another language. It does need an attention that states that it is in a different language. You also need one piece of government ID that states your address, your full name, last name, and your yes, and a picture that's your address, sorry. Okay, so those are all legal documents that you must present. Now, please keep in mind additional documents may apply. So if you do not have a social insurance number yet, please go to Service Ontario, or if you are out in BC, I believe it's just Canada Services, and they'll be able to give this social insurance number for you after you present your documents, and there is no fee to apply. Okay, so before you even get going into the job searching, make sure you have all of those required documents. All right. So we are going to go back on to Mentimeter, which it is the code. It is the same code. I don't have it written down, but I believe it should be in the chat. And I just want to know, how do you typically job search? Okay, online, ask friends. Awesome. Indeed. Awesome. Great website for job searching. 2 people said ask my friends. LinkedIn. Awesome. Amazing. Very, very good. I'm just going to wait a little bit longer just to see if there's anything else that pops in. All right. Very, very good. Love the answers. LinkedIn, very, very good. I definitely recommend for those who do not have it to get LinkedIn by the end of today. It will be the new Instagram. I'll tell you that right now. For when you're finding jobs, asking friends, that's amazing. Indeed, also a very great one, and obviously online, which is other online job searching websites, which we will go over in a little while. Thank you, everybody. Awesome answers. Okay, moving along. So this is the first step into finding a job, is to understand what are your career goals, okay? So for example, this is broken down into about 5 different categories that you need to take 20 minutes, half an hour to yourself, maybe write it down on paper, if you're using computers, just ask yourself, what are your interests, your personality style, what are some of your top skills, your accomplishments, and your values, okay? And I'm going to break it down into why each of these are important before you even start job searching, okay? Now, whenever you find a job or whenever you're looking for a job, you want to make sure that that this is a job that you actually want to do for a long period of time and that you are actually interested in, right? So for example, when searching for a job, you need to ask yourself the following questions. Are you looking for, first of all, full-time employment or part-time employment? Do you see yourself working in an office position 9 to 5 every single day? Or do you see yourself maybe working a job that maybe you need to travel from different locations, but also an office job? Do you want a hybrid model, right? Which is the new normal nowadays, right? Do you see yourself maybe working in a bank or in a team environment? Do you see yourself maybe working individually, right? These are all of interest that you need to sit down and ask yourself, where do you actually see yourself working? So once you determine that, then you can actually ask yourself, what is my personality? And where is this going to fit into the job that I'm eventually going to work in? So for example, for me, I cannot do a job that does not involve talking to people, right? So maybe a job that is just administrative assistant, that is not for me because it's more closed off. And I know I'm going to have minimal communication with others. And based on my personality, I need to make sure that I'm always communicating with others. I'm always interacting. I have a good team environment that allows me to build and maintain relationships. That's why an employability coach was perfect for me based on my personality style. Okay, so you need to kind of ask yourself, what is your personality and how is it going to fit in to your future job? Now, once you figure out your interests and your personality, the next step you want to ask is what are your top skills and how is that going to fit in to this job? So for example, is your strength relationship building? Are you a team leader? Do you see yourself working maybe in a management role? Do you see yourself working in a fast-paced environment under pressure? A lot of people, I know, for those who maybe get into sales, you need to have a specific personality and skills for that, right? For example, I know I can never work in sales because I don't really have the personality for that, right? So those are all things that you want to ask yourself, right? And start writing them down. Amanda, these are my top skills. This is my personality style, and these are my interests, right? And now also maybe you want to determine some of your accomplishments, right? So were you promoted in a short period of time, right? So again, that can maybe determine if you're going to be in a leadership role moving forward, right? What is your GPA? That is another big accomplishment that I always ask my students, right? Were you a member of student council at Yorkville University, right? Those are all great things that we can help determine where you can start to look for jobs, and also things that will give value onto your resume. Okay. Now, last but not least, you want to figure out what are your values and where does this company lie? Do they have the same values that you hold in the company? So a lot of people say, oh, a job is just a job. Yes and no. You need to make sure that you're working for a company that you're going to get along with, right? So for example, you want to research the company and read their missions and values. Does it align with yours? Do they share the same goals that you're looking for? And then based on there, maybe once you figure out, okay, they have check interests, they have the personality that I'm looking for. They also have some of the skills that I have. Okay, I can also add some accomplishments to that I know will be a great fit. And they also match my values. Bam, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you know you can apply to that position. So before you do that, you want to even ask yourself and know yourself and set career targets and goals for yourself. Okay. All right. So now that we figured out what kind of jobs, and knowing yourself and you've set career targets, now we can actually move along to the next step, which is also identifying the labor market. Okay. So this is also, so essentially what the labor market is, it identifies industries that are hiring, regions of province that need certain workers. Again, it will ask you about specific skills that are required. It also identifies potential employers that you can eventually connect with to build your network. It also gives you access to specific average salaries for the job that you're looking to apply to, which is a huge, huge one. It also allows you or gives you information on specific training and education that you want to gather that will help you and build your resume. And it also gives you access to the hidden job market. Okay. So once you figure out your career targets, you also want to make sure that you're researching the labor market, because this is what's going to help you and also give you a different branch to other careers that you may have not been aware of, right? So if you're for example, if you're so hung up on project management, right, but you also sit down and you determine your career goals and you also research the labor market, maybe you'll realize, okay, maybe project management is not for me after all. Maybe I see myself in an admin role, right? Because that maybe is where a lot of entry-level positions are hiring right now, right? So based on those research, you're going to be able to get a lot of different options. And I always tell my students to never always have their options open, right? Never have one, but you always have to have a plan A, B, and a plan C, okay? And we will go through the hidden job market in just a little bit, because that is very, very important to understand moving forward. All right. So what exactly is the hidden job market? So essentially what the hidden job market, it is jobs that are actually not advertised online, okay? So as you can see, there is a big percentage gap. So the hidden job market is 80% of jobs compared to the open job market, which is essentially jobs that you see through on online platforms such as LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, maybe specific company websites that that you're interested in. Those are all open job markets that, as you can see, is only 20% of individuals find employment through there. Now, the reason that there is such a big gap is because networking is the #1 tool into how employers or how students find jobs. Okay. So I always encourage you, to have LinkedIn, to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. Talk to people, right? Maybe talk to future alumni. If you know your friend works in a banking job, for example. Maybe you want to connect with them and let them know, hey, I'm currently going to be graduating from Yorkville, up in September. I'm currently in the process of updating my resume. Do you think once I edit my resume and it's completed, maybe you can take a look and see if your company is hiring and maybe put in a good word for me? That's how you explore the hidden job market, by talking to people, talking to employers, right? In addition, you also want to apply online. So again, you want to apply online 50% and then explore the hidden job market another 50%. Okay. And again, throughout the PowerPoint presentations, you're going to see how all of this comes together. All right. So how do employers and job seekers find each other? So just to back onto why there is such a big gap from 80 to 20, I'm going to break it down for you in simpler forms. So let's look on the right-hand side where it says people look for jobs in this direction. So let's just say a student is looking, typically students look for jobs, or individuals look for jobs through advertisements and job boards. Number one, that's their number one source. If they can't find jobs through that, they go through recruitment agencies, because recruitment agencies are typically fast and they need to fill those positions as soon as possible. Okay. If that doesn't work, then they typically go to professional organizations. Again, it's a quicker process than obviously applying online. Then they go through networking and word of mouth, contacts from existing staff. And then lastly, they look at internal promotion, lateral move, temporary, and consultants, right? However, employers hire the complete opposite. They actually hire from bottom up, which is internal promotions, all the way their last resort, which is advertisement and job boards. Now, the reason for this is very simple. Employers want to make sure that they are going to give somebody or hire somebody who they already have a little glimpse of information, right? So for example, let's just say we're working McDonald's, right? You work McDonald's, you're a customer service representative or a cashier, as an example, right? Now, your employer or your boss is now looking to hire a team lead, right? Now, why would an employer post a team lead position when he already has so many workers that he knows will be a great fit for a team lead role, right? So essentially what they're going to do is their employer is going to think, okay, who has proved themselves to be a team lead? Who is always on time? Who can I see myself working here and promote that? And they're probably going to talk to that individual and let them know, hey, team lead position is going to be posted. I really want you to apply when it comes out. He's going to get his best, I guess, workers and let them know about this job. Obviously, if there's nobody that he can promote, then he's going to ask his existing contacts from existing staff. So maybe he's going to reach out to, I'm going to use Heather as an example. Maybe he's going to say, hey, Heather, do you know if anybody, any family members, any friends that will be great fit for this role? And Heather's going to say, oh, absolutely. I actually know Alexandra. Alexandra, she's great leadership. She has always worked in a team environment. Here are her top 3 skills. I'll send you her resume. Chances are Alexandra is going to get an interview before anybody who is an external online application, right? That's because there's already that good referral and that's already that word of mouth, right? So please keep that in mind. When you are looking for jobs, you want to make sure that you are connecting with people. Family members is very, very important as well. Many students always find jobs through family members of friends, etc. Future alumni, as I mentioned before, friends, etc. So please make sure that you're online job searching as well as networking. Okay, awesome. So here are some crucial tips for job searching. in more detail. Here we go. So we obviously want to create a plan, which I've talked about before. We want to identify your goals. We want to be selective with your search. So this one is a very, very big one that I want to talk about, because many students, you know, if you're looking for, so many students, when they first come out of graduation, you know, they always want to go, sometimes some of them want to go a senior level, right? But we know sometimes based on your experience, maybe a senior level position is not just right. Now that's not for every student, but we want to make sure that you are being selective. So again, when you go on LinkedIn, you can actually filter this out. So you'll see an option where it says, what kind of jobs are you looking for? Administrative assistant. Then you can filter it out. You want to click entry level, right? If you're looking for strictly remote, you want to make sure that you're clicking and filtering out so that you only actually get remote jobs, right? Again, obviously, if you know that you are in a senior position as well, then maybe you want to not filter it to entry level. You want to filter it to what your best needs are. And this will give you the best chances of finding what suits you best, okay? You also want to maintain a strong digital presence. So I always recommend, you know, professional profile, use LinkedIn, you know, 30 minutes a day, you know, like posts, etc. All of those fun things. You also want to make sure that you customize your application, resume, and cover letter. And this one, Career Services will support you with 1000%. We can support you in creating a targeted resume that actually focuses on the job posting to make sure that we pull out relevant and specific information, keywords, buzzwords, based on that job that you are applying to specifically. Okay, the same thing with the cover letter. We want to make it personalized to you and to the employer. We also want to make sure that you are also aware of your new and old skills, and Career Services has a great tool that will be mentioned later on in the presentation about how we can identify those skills. I already talked about and stressed enough how to network regularly. Participating in job fairs is also a big one. You also want to visit company websites. Make sure that you're researching the salary to understand what are the average entry level positions or average salary expectations for this specific job. That way, when it comes time for an interview, if they ask you, what are your salary expectations, you're already going to have a little bit of information, which will help you advance and excel in your interview. You also want to make sure you're leveraging your current relationships, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, join professional organizations. I already mentioned you want to make sure you look offline. You want to set up informational interviews, find a mentor, volunteer, and also search for a NOC-B position, which I know many international students do require a NOC-B job for eventually getting their permanent resident status, okay? And again, majority of this will be talked about in a little more detail in the next couple of minutes, okay? Awesome. All right, so I also want to stress that when you are to work part-time during your studies to gain Canadian work experience, because once you have established just a little bit of Canadian work experience, you can work with a career services advisor to make sure that we are creating that targeted resume that focuses on your relevant information to, for example, project management roles and duties, okay? I would always recommend to set weekly goals for yourself. So maybe your weekly goal is, okay, I'm gonna apply to 5 jobs a day by 12 o'clock p.m., right? Maybe make a checklist for yourself and make sure you accomplish those things. I always recommend to spend 30 minutes every day applying to 15 jobs. The more you apply to, the better chances you will get. Always make 3 to 5 connections a day on LinkedIn. Again, LinkedIn recommends to have 500 connections. Obviously, that is not overnight process that does take time. So you want to make sure you're making 3 to 5 connections that you know that are going to benefit you. For example, if you are so hung up on working in a banking job, for example, you want to make sure that your connections are people that maybe work in different banks that you eventually want to apply to. Okay. You also want to keep track of places that you apply. This is a very, very big one. Okay. Because when we are applying to so many jobs, it is so easy to forget where I've applied. If I applied to this job, is it a scam? Is it not a scam? I've done this in the past. So please, keep track, maybe write a note or paper, Microsoft Word document it. That way you're not confused. It's nothing like an employer calling you and you've been like asking, did I apply to this job? So you want to make sure you're professional and you're also up to date with what you applied to. Okay. You want to also understand your employment rights, and you want to make sure that you stay positive and celebrate small successes. Okay. Remember, finding a job does take time. So even if you get your first interview, but maybe you're unsuccessful, don't focus on the unsuccessful interview part. Focus on, hey, I actually did get my first interview and I was able to learn so much from that. Now, taking that feedback, I'm going to push it forward and make sure that I really excel in my next interview, right? The practice makes perfect, and I always encourage all my students, don't get so hung up on the unsuccessful interviews. Just focus on that one successful one. Okay? Awesome. And again, Career Services, we will help you and support you through all of this journey. All right, so we're back on Mentimeter. So here is the code. I'll just remind you, it's 40987176. And I want to know, how many resumes do you think you can create? So we have one person who said one person said 4. Three, okay. 2 people said 1, okay. All right, so I will tell you what the answer. 2 people said 4, and so we have a tie between 1 and 4, and 1 person said 3. So let's see what the result is. All right, so the result is actually there is 3 types of resume. So shout out to that person who said 1. You are, or 3, you are correct. So what are the different types of resumes? So the first one is chronological, the second one is functional, and the third one is combination. What are all of these different resume styles? How can I determine which one is the best for you? So let's go in it in a little bit of detail. So a chronological resume is for a person who has many years of experience in one specific career. Okay. This individual should have worked for several employers or clients and has minimal or no gaps in between jobs. Okay. A functional resume is for an individual who has little to no experience in their field. They are about to change careers. They have transferable skills from their past experience or their work or personal life, their education and personal life that they can bring forward. They also have gaps or have job hopped. Okay. So for a functional resume, this one focuses not so much on the work experience, but a lot of their skills. Okay. Now, last but not least, we have a combination resume, which is a combination of both work experience and skills. And you should have 1 to 3 years of relevant experience. You can be a recent graduate, again, with limited experience. You are about to change careers. You have a consistent work record and also have no gaps. So once you have gone through it and you've determined which resume style suits you best, a career services advisor can actually work with you to create either a chronological, functional, or combination resume that will set you up for awesome interviews. Okay? All right. So transferable skills. So this is a major one and it's part of the job searching process. So transferable skills are skills that you can use in every job from each career experience, including part-time jobs, volunteering, internships, conferences, full-time school, and student organizations, okay? So again, I'm gonna walk you through how we can actually pull out all of these transferable skills. So here are some examples of transferable skills: problem solving, critical thinking, teamwork, self-awareness, time management, organization, communication, listening, and leadership. Now, many students come to me and they say, oh, I don't know my skills. But right off the bat, if you were communicating with me on a one-to-one meeting, then I will always say, well, you already have one transferable skill that can be added on your resume, which is communication, right? Because you and I are communicating right now. I will then ask you, have you ever, maybe you don't have work experience, but have you ever done a team project, an academic team project? Majority of the time, students will say yes. Awesome. There you go. You have teamwork skills. Those are all transferable skills that that can apply from the job posting to your job, right? Another thing, example, problem solving. Maybe you never solved a problem with a customer, but maybe you had to solve a conflict again within an academic team project, or maybe even with a friend, right? So again, just keep in mind, you don't always have to just focus on your work experience. You can focus on your academic career as well as your personal life to find out those transferable skills. And a little fun fact is that 38% of employers say they have difficulty finding people with the skills they require, and 54% of companies say that skill shortages impacts their ability to serve their companies. So again, it is very, very important before you apply to a job that you determine all of your transferable soft and hard skills that we can be putting on your resume to benefit you. Okay. All right. Now, when working with a career service advisor, you will be able to take a skill scan assessment, okay, which will break your skills down into 4 different categories. So as you can see, this is my result. I just put it as an example. So as you can see, my result is that my top skill is relationships. My second skill is communication. Third is management and leadership. 4 is creativity. So based on these results and all of these words here, collaborative, conflict resolution, diversity, manage projects, speak to groups, etc., we want to make sure that these keywords or these key skills are all highlighted on your resume, okay? So it takes about 20 minutes to complete, but in addition to highlighting this, it also breaks down some of career options for you that you can also take a look and see, okay? So again, this is a really, really great one that I've had many feedback from students that say it's very helpful, because sometimes it is hard to actually think, what are some of my skills? And sometimes you also miss some skills. I can also say that for myself. So by taking a skill scan assessment, you won't have to worry. And again, these are not just skills that you can put forward to your resume. You can also put them onto your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so please keep that in mind. All right. So reading a job posting. So this one is very, very, very important. And I'm going to walk you through how to read a job posting properly, because, you know, there's nothing like applying to a job that maybe you're not qualified for, or maybe you're not interested in, or just applying to all these random jobs. And then you get these callbacks and you're like, okay, no, that doesn't fit with, again, my goals, my personality, and my values. So you really want to make sure that when you're reading a job posting, that you actually take the time to read it, okay? So this is just an example of a junior project manager position at Amico in Richmond Hill. Again, first things first, you want to make sure that you are applying to a job that sets the location that you're able to commute with efficiently, okay? So you don't want to apply to a job that is 3 hours away. If you cannot reach to that job, it's obviously not realistic. You want to make sure that you actually have the means and the tools to get there. Okay. So again, this is what the company is all about. It says, I'm not going to read it in full detail, but as you can see, it says they're looking for a company that is dedicated to personal and career growth. Again, it gives you a little bit of how many employees that they have across North America, some of the things that they offer. And then they also talk about what their successful candidate will look like. Again, personality is in this here, right? Energetic, driven, able to deal with demands and timelines, right? Those are all things that you want to make sure that you have in order to actually apply to this position, right? It also gives you a little insight about this, that it's looking for maybe somebody who is junior, looking to grow within the company. So obviously they're not looking for somebody who to just stay for 3 months. They want to make sure that you're there and you're going to commit to that. Okay. Now on the right-hand side, here it says the qualification. So this one is very, 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 very important that I need to stress that you actually need to read and say, and actually click off which ones that you actually have. Okay. So here we go. Effective negotiation skills and demonstrated ability to manage relationships. I'm going to do this for myself. Yes. Able to manage and facilitate numerous projects. Yes. Excellent English, written and verbal communication. Yes. Self-motivated, dedicated, and result-oriented. Yes. 1 year experience working as a project coordinator, construction industry is an asset. X, I do not have. However, the key word here is an asset. So whenever you see a job posting that says an asset or is a bonus, a plus, those are all things that employers are not too picky with. But where it says a must, then you know that is that they're going to be picky with. So must speak French. If you don't have French, obviously don't apply to it. If it says French is an asset, then that's different. Okay. Strong organizational, written, and communication skills. Good negotiation skills, I do not have. Ability to work tight deadlines, multiple tasks, and follow-ups, I have. And proficient in MS Office, I don't have, right? As an example. So you want to make sure, so if you have about 50%, which obviously I think I do have 50%, the only thing I don't have is a little bit of some of the skill negotiation, and I don't have the work experience, I would say go ahead and still apply, because this is a wish list for employers, right? Qualifications is a wish list. Obviously, they know they're not going to get every single one, right? So you want to make sure that you at least are hitting 50%. Okay? So just keep that in mind. All right. So employment scams. So it is very, very important that when you are job searching, that you make sure that the company is legit. Okay? So some of the things to look out for are mystery shoppers, expensive job supplies that says, oh, go out and buy $1,500 worth of pens, pencils, uniform, etc. That obviously should be a red flag. That is a scam. Okay. A lot of these big profit work from home jobs, they obviously have it looks so great on paper, but it just doesn't seem realistic. Okay. It has costly job training. Again, please keep in mind, typically employers will never ask you to pay for the training. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Bogus business opportunities. Another one, like, oh, do this and you're going to get a free internship or a free trip, right? Those are all things that you want to look out for. Okay. Again, some employment agencies can be a scam, and then foreign job scams as well. So again, if you have a little inkling that this may be a scam, please reach out to one of us and we'll be able to review and walk you through and research the company together. Okay. All right. So this is just another big one. This is about risks of working under the table. Okay. So when you really want to avoid this, because the reason for this is that this will actually help limit you from getting a permanent resident status. So you just want to try to avoid this altogether. The reason for this is because you're going to be underpaid and you're going to be taking advantage with working condition and expectations that are actually illegal. Okay. So for example, you are actually only eligible to work up to 8 hours a day and 40 hours per week. And typically when you work under the table, they actually don't comply with those rules, and that is illegal. So you want to make sure that you are avoiding this. Okay. Another thing is that you are going to experience a lot of legal and tax issues, right? Because a lot of these under the table jobs are paid in cash and there is no proof. If you can't prove that you worked at this company, again, that's not going to help you find a job, and it's also not going to help you maintain a permanent resident status. So please keep that in mind. In addition, you will not get all of your benefits that you are actually legal and required to get when you are working for a company, such as employment insurance, maternity, disability leave. Again, you will not get any benefits, vacation pay, which we all love, health care and accident care and coverage, etc. So please make sure that you try to avoid this, because again, you will not get a sponsor, can help challenge you to get a permanent resident status. All right. Let's just avoid this at all costs. All right. So connecting international experience on a resume. Okay. So you want to make sure that you are selective with what you choose. Okay. You want to include your languages spoken, include your volunteer experience, include relevant soft and hard skills. And you also want to highlight specific details, bold your job titles, include relevant roles and responsibilities associated with your work experience. Okay. And all of these things we will help you determine when we create that resume. All right. All right. So another key thing moving along is building connections on campus, which is a very big one. All right. So I really encourage you to reach out to your international student services and career services advisor to see what kind of job opportunities are available, etc. Okay. You also want to join school organization clubs and also volunteer. So there is paid and unpaid internships. Maybe you want to volunteer at the university campus to get your foot in the door, which is a big one. Again, please stay connected with your academic advisors. Connect with domestic students as well, because again, having maybe a different story may lead you into open a new door. So just keep that in mind. And again, always maintain relationships with your faculty, because they can also recommend you, they can give you good referrals, etc. And this will help you your job search, make it less challenging. All right. So back on Mentimeter, it is, again, the code is 40987176. So have you attended a job fair before? Yes or no? We have yes for one, no for no. 2 people now for both. 3 say no. All right, excellent. All right, thank you for those who participated. So for those who have never participated in a job fair or attended one, it is very important that you attend a job fair, okay? Because there are so many great benefits that include meeting multiple employers at a time. It allows you immediate response for a job application. It allows you to boost your confidence. It is also cost efficient. It is indirect marketing for your brand. It allows you to participate in interviews and build your networking. It also gets you to know the competition that you're up against. And it also learns more about yourself, because when you attend these job fairs, you're going to say, okay, maybe I don't want to work here. I got feedback on there, etc. Right? And I just want to let you know that when you attend a job fair, you are actually have an advantage over those who do not, because employers don't just hold job fairs just because. They also are holding job fairs because they are like you. They can't find people to fit that role that they're looking for, and more chances are not, they have a lot of employment opportunities. There's not just one opportunity available, there's multiple, which that's why they hold these, hoping that people like you are looking are very eager to work. Okay, and I'm going to show you the website where you can actually find out all of this information for every job fair in your region. Okay, and the website is called eventbrite.ca. And again, if you do want access to that link, I will share it in the chat at the end, or you can email me and we can share that with individually. So again, you go on eventbrite.ca, you can just search here where it says search events. Typically, I always just search job fairs, and then it will give you a filter option. Just filter. So for example, if I'm from Brampton, I would search Brampton, Ontario, and then it would actually give you all of the job fairs that are available, either virtually or in person. They're all free to attend. You can just go and register, and then it syncs right to your calendar so you don't forget. Okay, so again, I always encourage you, please do attend job fairs. It will really benefit you when you're networking and finding jobs. Okay, all right, so just a little bit of a quick tip about job interviews is that we want to make sure that you are prepared as best as possible. So there's 3 stages. There is the pre, during, and after. So the pre, you want to make sure that you know how far you're commuting. You're commuting to. Is it in person? Is it remote? You understand what you want to wear, etc. Right? During the interview, all of your practice is going to be your tone. You know what you want to say, how to answer the questions, etc. And then after is also presenting yourself professionally, which is typically sending a follow-up email, a thank you email, etc. Okay? And again, career services will help you prepare with education and practice for all these mock interviews. So here are some interviews do's and don'ts. We're going to research the company, right? You want to research the company beforehand. You want to practice your answers, map out your routes, dress appropriately. So again, you want to make sure, dress pants and a blazer, golf shirt, black jeans, nice boots. It doesn't really matter. Just make sure there's no ripped jeans, stains on your shirts, wrinkles, etc. You want to make sure that you arrive 10 minutes early. I would say for Zoom, it is 5 minutes. You also want to keep your answers concise, clear, and positive. You want to show enthusiasm and interest, and you want to make sure that you're a good listener, okay? Some of the big don'ts is you don't want to chew gum. You don't want to smoke before an interview because maybe that, it gives employers headaches, etc. Chewing gum is just very unprofessional. Never lie in an interview because it will always come back to haunt you. Don't speak too quiet or too loud. Don't slouch or fidget. That just shows you're uninterested. And never criticize your past employment. And again, wearing fragrances kind of goes with smoking before an interview. Okay, so please keep in mind the do's and don'ts. It is very important that you maintain professionalism throughout. Okay, all right. So here are some frequently asked questions that typically employers will ask in an interview, which are: tell me about yourself. How do you hear about the position? What do you know about the company? Why do you want this job? Why should we hire you? Identify some strengths and weaknesses. Have you ever had to deal with a difficult customer? What kind of training or qualifications do you have? What are the salary that you're seeking? And do you have any questions for us? So in order to prepare for a mock interview, please reach out to your career services advisor, and they'll be able to walk you through each of these questions and will give you tips and feedback on how to actually answer all of these common questions. All right, so we're almost done. So last but not least, another crucial part of job searching is informational interviews. Okay, so how I like to look at informational interviews is I always say, when you arrive is a meeting you arrange and lead. Okay, it's an opportunity to gain insights from experts, a chance to learn about fit, about a company, about your fit. Sorry, again, is a chance to add to your network. Now, the way I like to look at this is when you first came to Canada, you didn't just come to Canada and decide one day to move here, right? Why is Canada better than the United States? Those are all questions that you probably ask yourself, and you probably talk to maybe family members, friends, etc., on why Canada is best for you, right? And you are probably still in contact with these individuals. So why not do the exact same thing when it comes to job searching? Remember, 80% of jobs are found through networking, okay? So you wanna, when you are setting up informational interviews, you wanna say something like this. Hi, my name is Heather, and I am a current Bachelor of Business Administration and Project Management student at Yorkville University. I came across your profile from the open junior project coordinator position at your company. I will be graduating in the upcoming months, and I am looking to gather some additional information on this specific industry, as I am not sure what to expect when applying for job opportunities. I was wondering if you would be able to have a quick chat with me and provide me with some insight. I'm flexible and able to chat at a time that works best for you. I look forward to hearing from you. Chances are you are going to get a response with somebody who is willing to support you. Okay, so please, again, you can message via LinkedIn, or you can just have these casual conversations with professors, friends, student alumni, etc. Okay. All right. Now, again, these are just some questions that you want to ask. Was there ever a role you applied for and landed but weren't 100% qualified to do? And how did you proceed? Which leadership skills were the most difficult to develop? How do you develop the skills of speaking so engagingly and in front of groups? Again, you can ask them, I'm considering a career transition. What are some other areas of business that might be a good fit for me? Could you offer some feedbacks and ways to improve my professionalism? And from there, you can always, this will help you determine whether or not, or help you, gain them referrals. Okay. All right. Now, these are some top job searching websites that you should keep in mind. Obviously, we have Indeed, we have LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Career Builder, and Google for Jobs. Okay. So please use all of these websites in addition to networking. It will give you better chances of finding employment. The more you apply to, the more websites, the more opportunities will arise. And again, just some additional resources is for international students specifically is the Career Services Job Board, which also focuses on finding open job opportunities that these employers are specifically looking for YU candidates. So please reach out to your career services advisor on how to gain access to the job board. There's the National Occupational Classification website, Ontario Job Bank, Student Application Form for Employment, Moving to Canada. There's the Prepare for Canada, ways international students to get hired, and Yorkville University alumni Facebook group that will connect you with mentorship programs, current campus events, job opportunities, job postings, all of those fun things. So again, please reach out to us and we will be able to send you all of this information to help you and benefit you. All right, and I want to end finally with life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Okay. All right. So please, go out there. I know, you're new to Canada, but again, you got to get out of that comfort zone. You got to network. You got to talk. You got to build your profile, and I promise you, a job will come. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave it now to some questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to, give me 1 second, and I'm going to, how do you stop sharing? Oh, give me 1 second. There we go. All right. Now would it be for some questions?
Great. Thank you so much, Amanda, for such a fantastic webinar all about specific job search tips for our international students. One thing that really stood out to me was how you emphasize the focus on transferable skills, those skills that you might currently have from your school program, a different industry, or some volunteer experience you've had. I thought that was really, really important. So thank you for that. It does look like we are a little bit over the time. So I think what we're going to do is, if you have posted a Q&A into the chat, we will reach out and we will answer those questions via email. Of course, you can reach out to our email. I know it's been popped in the chat. It's careerservices@yorkvilleu.ca. And we are very, very happy to see you all attend today. If you liked this webinar and you would like to come to our next one, I want to invite you. Our next webinar will be presented at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Tuesday, September 27th by myself and my fantastic colleague, Emma Hartley. Emma, would you like to share what our upcoming webinar is all about?
Yes, thank you so much, Alex. It's all called Creative Freelancing, What to Know Before You Begin. Again, that's Tuesday 27th, myself and Alex. If you are interested in gig work, adding a side hustle, starting a freelancing business, or becoming a contract worker, then you're not going to want to miss this. You can register for free now at our bit.ly link. I'm just dropping in the chat, and we'd love to see you there. Thanks all.
Great, thanks so much, Emma. In addition, if you would like additional one-to-one support when it comes planning for your career, or if you would like support from our team, our career advisors, our employability specialist, all about getting clear on your job search goals and how to job search and creating that plan, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to support you in your pathway from education to the workplace. And again, please email us, careerservices@yorkvilleu.ca. If you like this presentation and want more information on all sorts of career planning topics, from how to identify your career options to planning your next steps to networking and crafting that tailored resume, please check out our career portal website. In addition, this portal hosts our job board, which has numerous positions where employers have reached out to us looking for someone like you. So I highly recommend that you bookmark our website. We're always updating it with fantastic opportunities. Finally, I just want to say a final thank you for joining us today, and a special thanks to our fantastic presenter, Amanda Lecce. All right, so thanks everyone. We hope to see you come out to the next one, and have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.